What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 1840 Eastern Time here in the United States. We have some major updates coming in with regards to Iran. So we have some new video footage showing American F-35s being moved into Jordan. Here's a video showing 4 F-35s being escorted by a KC-135 aerial refueler. And based on flight tracking information, we know that as many as 18 F-35s have been moved this evening to potentially either Saudi Arabia or Jordan. Let me just play this video for you. Check this out. So as many as 18 F-35s being moved to the Middle East this evening, and apparently they came from the UK. Here we have some flight tracking data showing a large number of aerial refuelers going from the UK to the island of Crete, likely dragging down all those F-35s. And then here you can see some more aerial refuelers going to Crete. So this is extremely serious. And Israeli Channel 14 is reporting that a third U.S. aircraft carrier, the USS George Bush, will be arriving in the Middle East in mid-March. So it looks like 3 aircraft carriers will be deployed to the Middle East in total. So we already have the Abraham Lincoln, and now the George Bush, and the one in the Caribbean, the Gerald Ford, which is the largest aircraft carrier, are going to be going over to the Middle East. So this is huge news, guys. 3 aircraft carrier strike groups. That is absolutely insane. And during his visit to Israel this weekend, Senator Lindsey Graham said a U.S. decision on action against Iran is weeks and not months away. And we're hearing that Whiteman Air Force Base, which is home of U.S. B-2 stealth bombers, has been put under a temporary flight shutdown per FAA notices. The airfield has been closed from February 14th through the 17th, with radar approach services offline through the 17th. So that's through tomorrow. So over the last couple days and through tomorrow, looks like something is going on over there at Whiteman Air Force Base. They have put a restriction over the entire base, a flight restriction. So it sounds to me like they're getting ready to strike Iran. And right now, this evening, we have 2 U.S. AWACS planes. These are surveillance planes leaving Anchorage, Alaska, and going over the Atlantic to the Middle East. So the massive movement continues. And then here we have the latest position of the U.S. aircraft carrier off the coast of Iran. It's approximately 700 kilometers off the coast of Iran. And CNN is reporting that U.S. forces are being transferred from Britain, including refueling aircraft and fighter jets. At least 18 U.S. Air Force F-35s departed RAF Lakenheath, believed en route to Jordan's Mufawak Salti Air Base. I'm going to read to you some of the call signs of these F-35s if you want to track them for yourself. The Valkyrie 01, Valkyrie 02, Valkyrie 03, Valkyrie 04, Valkyrie 05, Valkyrie 06, Valkyrie 07, Valkyrie 08, Valkyrie 09, Green 01, Green 02, Green 03, Green 04, Green 05, Green 06, Green 07, Green 08, and Green 09. So those are the call signs of these F-35s if you want to verify my information if you think I'm full of crap. And CNN, citing sources, is reporting that the U.S. military has extended deployment orders for U.S. military units in the Middle East that were expected to leave the region in the coming weeks. Okay, so they're extending the deployment of U.S. troops in the Middle East. And CNN is reporting that ongoing discussions regarding the possibility of the U.S. and Israel conducting joint operations against Iran are continuing. So that's what's going on right now with the U.S. and Israel, is that they're discussing joint military operations. And U.S. intelligence believes that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps will most likely try to fill any leadership vacuum in the short term. So what they're going to have to do is, it's not enough to just take out the Ayatollah, because then the IRGC will come in and take over. So they're going to have to take out the IRGC and try to take out most of the IRGC and degrade them, okay? And CNN, citing a U.S. official, is reporting that the U.S. is continuing to send air defense systems to the Middle East. And we're hearing that the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier strike group will take 2 weeks to arrive in the Eastern Mediterranean from the time it left the Caribbean. So I think it left a couple days ago. So we're looking at no sooner than this weekend or sometime next week it's going to be in position. And a Taliban spokesperson says that the Taliban will help Iran if Iran is attacked by the U.S. And the Israeli Security Cabinet held another meeting today about Iran. And the commander of the Iranian IRGC Navy confirms the readiness of rapid intervention units to confront any security threats. Interesting. And the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that he told President Donald Trump during their meeting last week at the White House that any nuclear deal between Iran and the U.S. must include the complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear infrastructure, not just stopping the enrichment process. Wow. And President Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in December that he would back Israeli strikes on Iran's ballistic missile program if nuclear negotiations between Washington and Tehran collapse, according to CBS News. Since then, senior U.S. military and intelligence officials have begun internal discussions about how the U.S. could support such action. The discussions have focused on practical assistance, including aerial refueling for Israeli aircraft and securing overflight permissions from countries along potential strike routes, rather than on whether Israel would act on its own. So they're coordinating right now. They're figuring out how they can do this together. Okay? And this update was sponsored by NYPrepper Supply. Guys, NYPrepper Supply is doing a $100 discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description down below. The normal price for their 3-month kit is $800, and they're selling it for $700. That's $700 for 3 months of emergency food, up to 2,000 calories per day for 3 months, and it has a shelf life of 25 years, all packed within rugged, watertight buckets that don't take up a lot of space. You don't have to worry about rotating anything. You don't have to monitor expiration dates. You don't need a massive place to keep all your food. You can fit all this food in a tiny closet in a studio apartment. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $100 off the NYPrepper Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, listed the 4 necessary components of an agreement with Iran, which include removing all enriched uranium from inside of Iran's borders, removing all uranium enrichment equipment from Iran so that it has no enrichment capacity, Iran's ballistic missiles must meet a range limit of 300 kilometers, and the axis of terror, or Iran's proxies in the Middle East, must be dismantled. Let me play this clip for you of Netanyahu saying it for himself.
But I said that if a deal is to be reached, it should have several components that we believe are important not only for the security of Israel, but for the security of the world, the United States, the region, the world. The first is that all enriched material has to leave Iran. The second is that there shall be no enrichment capability, not stopping the enrichment process, but dismantle the equipment and the infrastructure that allows you to enrich in the first place. And the third is to deal also with the questions of ballistic missiles. There's an MTCR limitation of 300 kilometers, and Iran is supposed to adhere to it. Of course it doesn't, as the Rising Lion operation by itself manifested. Everybody knows that. And the fourth is dismantle the axis of terror that Iran has built. It's been smashed, but it's still there. It's trying to recover, as Iran itself is trying to do. And the last thing is, remember Ronald Reagan's dictum vis-a-vis the Soviet Union? Trust but verify, distrust, distrust, and always verify. So there has to be real inspections, substantive inspections, no lead time inspections, but effective inspections for all of the above.
Wow, so some pretty serious demands by Netanyahu, and that kind of contradicts with what Trump has been saying, which is that it's okay if Iran strikes a deal on the nuclear, but nothing else. So Israel has already said that they will strike Iran on their own if there's a bad deal, okay? And Iran's foreign ministry says that technical experts will be involved in tomorrow's round of Iran-U.S. negotiations in Geneva, and says sanctions relief is an inseparable part of the talks. So very interesting. And semi-official news channels on Telegram are saying that the Iranian National Security Council has ordered data centers to get prepared for plausible upcoming internet blackouts. Interesting. And widespread internet outages were reported at X, AWS, Cloudflare, and various AI platforms, according to Down Detector today. So very interesting. And channels affiliated with Iran's IRGC are circulating a video created by artificial intelligence which shows an Iranian missile attack on an aircraft carrier and other surface vessels with the U.S. Navy. And Iran's IRGC launched a drill today dubbed Smart Control of the Strait of Hormuz to test naval readiness to protect the waterway, according to Iran's state-aligned news agency Tasnim. Separately, Iran's civil defense organization held a chemical defense drill at the Pars Special Economic Energy Zone to boost preparedness for potential chemical incidents at the major southern energy hub. Interesting. And India seized 3 U.S.-sanctioned tanker ships, oil tankers, linked to Iran this month, and stepped up surveillance to curb illicit trade, a source with direct knowledge of the matter said. And over the weekend, there was a historic nuclear airlift. The U.S. Air Force transported America's first compact nuclear reactor via a C-17 Globemaster from March Air Reserve Base to Hill Air Force Base in Utah. The Ward 250 test reactor, developed by Valar Atomics, will undergo testing at Utah San Rafael Energy Research Center in Orangeville. A compact nuclear reactor designed for rapid deployment to remote military bases, providing reliable power without depending on vulnerable electrical grids. Wow, so they can basically drop this portable nuclear reactor anywhere in the world, and it basically can produce electricity to power a small city. That is really impressive. The mission is to bring the reactor fully online by 4th of July of this year under President Trump's Executive Order 14301, advancing America's energy independence. It would serve as portable power for forward operating bases, AI data centers, and industrial manufacturing. Valar Atomics plans to scale this technology into massive gigasites with thousands of these compact reactors to restore American energy dominance. Interesting. And you know what's interesting, guys? If you play one of the Call of Duty video games, in that game, there's like a futuristic society that has miniature portable reactors that are installed in everybody's backyard to power their house. So they don't have to get power from the power companies anymore. They basically just have a mini reactor the size of like a small generator installed next to their house, and that can power their whole house for decades, okay? And that, that's something that we should be doing here in the US, Instead of keeping people slaves to the electric power companies, we should have mini nuclear reactors in all of our backyards so we don't have to pay, hundreds of dollars a month to electrical operators. And when the power goes down because of storms, it takes them days and weeks to dispatch anybody to restore the power. But maybe that's something we're going to see in our lifetimes, in our kids' lifetimes, is these mini nuclear reactors in all of our houses that will just power our whole house, But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on with another update. If not, I'll be posting more tomorrow. Please consider subscribing to my Patreon, patreon.com/NYPrepper. And also follow me on Twitter at NYPrepper1. And you can download my free app from the Google Play Store. And also for Apple, there's links in the description below this video. It lets me send you notifications directly to your phone when I go live and when I post videos and when there's major breaking news. So download my free app. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.